All right, Pillars of Stability. Sorry for the unstable stand. This is the Commonplace book, Commonplace binder. I'm going to put this down now. We are on video number 100. We finally made it. So after this video, it's 2026, which means all of this ends, and I will be making new videos on a new subject, and that will be on how commonplace books fit into education, rather than just commonplace books themselves in the form of a commonplace binder. So, Pillars of Stability. One of the main stable pillars in my life is recording videos, and so I will keep making videos. One of the things is also the Commonplace book, Commonplace binder. Even though this is a demonstration binder, it is still very helpful, and I appreciate working on it. Although I am going to work on it a little bit more before I go back and record the actual flip-through element of the flip-through video, which I believe was video number, where was it? 98. There we go. Thought it was 97, but it's 98. So if you want to see the actual flip-through of where I page through the binder, go back to video number 98. Yeah, so Pillars of Stability. I feel like we've done that. Next, best step. So remember, it's not necessarily to make a commonplace book or a commonplace binder in a single day. Sometimes it's just a good idea to, put lotion on your hands in the winter if they're getting dried out. Floss your teeth if you haven't done that in a while. Brush your teeth if you just woke up, make your bed. Do all the basic chores. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do the next best thing. So before I record a video, sometimes I will have a bunch of things laid out and I will want to do the thing, but I'll be like, it's okay. I'll do a half measure and I'll say that it counts because I did more than normal. But yeah, this is bonus content. So there's no real plan here. I'm just gonna be talking, and if you enjoy that, thank you. If you don't enjoy that, well, there's the next best video, and I guess this is the next best video. Your mind is at work. So it might be that your mind is physically still at work right now because you're still at work and you're watching a video at work. Why would you do that? No, I think most of the people who watch this channel watch on Saturdays based on when the views are normally coming in. But the views have been a little bit weird recently. So there have been a lot more men than women watching, which is the reverse of what normally happens. So maybe I said something horribly offensive at some point. I don't know. It could just be that there are not that many people watching, and so 5 people changed what information they provide, and all the information changed. Concern for their children. So in the next playlist, I will be talking about education, and because education kind of relies on the parents in a lot of ways, I have to hope that the parents actually have some concern for their children. But that might not happen, and so we're gonna have to work around that. Glimmer of Hope. I will be trying to make a playlist that actually gives people some hope for the future in terms of showing them a project that is sort of viable, that the main problem with is it takes forever to implement. So we could start implementing it slowly, and then if people get on board, then we could speed it up. And so, Glimmer of Hope. Long-term planning. Just like a commonplace book, when building an education system, I've been focusing on not the near term, but the ultra long term. And so in the ultra long term, a lot of things happen. Just assume every single institution that exists today has a possibility of not existing, and every institution that exists today has a possibility of taking over literally everything. And so the education system has to be able to adapt to all of that. And so the long-term planning gets a little crazy, and I did most of that a long time ago, around roughly 2010 to 2015. And so I'm not in that frame of mind right now, which means if I wanted to do that, I would have to have a framework to build everything on. And I don't have that yet because I haven't made the next playlist. But once I finish this playlist, I will have the terms to work with. I will have all the idea categories, and we will be able to build towards it. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm very excited, and I would be even more excited if I didn't have to go back to get the flip-through done, and this would actually be the final video. It's the final video you'll see if you're watching the playlist from start to finish, but I gotta go back and fix up one of the videos, and it's like, man, oh well. Not in the handbook. There isn't really a handbook for how to do all this stuff, so I've been trying to make one for myself on how to make a YouTube channel and how to actually present the commonplace book stuff as a binder. Saving money. There are a lot of ways I could have done this in a more expensive way that would have gotten it done a lot faster. Mostly, I would have hired an editor, because I don't have one of those. I would have had a better computer, so my computer would have more space on it, and it wouldn't be as laggy. I would get a better mouse, because, you know, if the computer mouse has trouble clicking, then I might double click, or I might not click at all, and that's very annoying. Yeah, so saving money by taking longer to get the thing done is not ideal, but I did save some money while doing it. Although I decided some of the things were worth splurging on, like these colored note cards. These are very fun. Actually, I think this is one of the first videos that has the red. I think they only exist in the final 4 videos. I might have showed them beforehand, but I'm really enjoying what these look like in person. I don't know. Where are we? Fear of risk. So for a long time, I was terrified of spending all my money. The problem with this is I was listening to a lot of people who are considered by Americans to be baby boomers, and they seem to have this fantasy that people can budget their way out of anything, when in reality you just, you know, need income before the budgeting makes any sense, unless there's like $1 million laying around, in which case, yeah, sure, you can budget, I guess, but like I was terrified of taking the risk of making this channel. Not totally just because of my stuff. In fact, it was mostly because of people I interacted with in real life who were telling me to never make a channel. So eventually I just did it because I was like, it has to be done. If I don't do it, no one else is going to do it. If I spend all my time focused on this thing and I don't actually execute, then I'm going to have a problem. And so in some ways, the fear of risk might not come from you. It might actually come from the people around you. So I'm not saying to do anything crazy, but I am saying if you commit all your time to something and you're about to finish a task, it might be beneficial to just do the final 1%. You know what I mean? All the world's knowledge. So this does not contain all of the world's knowledge, but if you had all the world's knowledge, what would you do with it? How are you going to go through it? You're going to spend your whole life and then another 1,000 lifetimes going through it, and then another 1,000 lifetimes understanding it, and then another 1,000 lifetimes, like what are we talking about? We don't need to look through all of Wikipedia or the entire internet. We just need to grab the information relevant to us in our lives and then use it in a productive way. You know, one that helps people. I don't want anyone to do anything crazy here. Just be friendly, okay? Attention to detail. If you have attention to detail, you might not necessarily need a Commonplace book. If you can also memorize everything, and if there's no mental strain from memorizing everything, thinking through everything, and knowing where all the blank spots are. I don't know about that. Present or purposeful. Right, so you might not be present or purposeful if you're really focused on the Commonplace book or Commonplace binder. I don't really know how to help with that. I am currently pushing everything to the side, even reviewing my own notes, to get this playlist done, because if I don't have a playlist of 100 videos, I won't feel confident in anything that I put out, and so I need to make the playlist so I can finally feel confident that no matter what anybody says, I have at least made a playlist of 100 videos that in total will probably be greater than 25 hours of content. So might be you need to get rid of the distractions before you can actually do the thing intentionally. Risking a year. It has been pretty crazy risking a year working on something like this, because I haven't been making money, I haven't been working towards a degree, I haven't been really networking, and so this year has mostly just been I talk to a camera and I say random things from a list of words. I hope it works. I think it has helped some people, and so in that way it's worth it. But this is a huge risk because I'm kind of banking on this giving me authority, or at least something to build from in the future. And if it doesn't do that, well, I kind of wasted a year. I don't think I did waste a year, but we'll see what happens. The good news is I should have a lot of years as long as I eventually do get money, because some of my relatives live to be very old, although we have found out recently that on multiple branches of the family tree, the absolute limit is roughly 104, give or take a few months, before or after the birthday. So, yeah, what you do is important. And what I do is related to the next thing, because apparently I'm going to be a pallbearer in a few weeks. So, Not a huge surprise, but it is always a surprise when someone super old dies. Because, you know, after 80, it's like, yeah, I guess we expected that. But then after 100, it's like, oh yeah, you were still around. That's crazy, dude. Aiming high. So I'm not really hoping to be the oldest person in the family. That would be absolutely legendary. But I am aiming to actually turn all this Commonplace book stuff into an education system that works and spreads all over the world, which is somehow even more insane than being the oldest in the family. Because being the oldest in the family would be like pretty close to, you know, the oldest man ever. And so, yeah. I'm aiming high, but I guess I'm somehow aiming even higher than that, which I don't know if I have the confidence for, but we'll try. About to change. So I have seen a lot of videos titled something like, you have to or your old life is going to cost you your new one. No, your new life is going to cost you your old one. And they keep showing up. And I think the algorithm is trying to tell me something. Like, you have to become the better version of yourself to get the thing done. And I don't know if I'm ready for that. I hope I am. I'm trying to be. But it is a little bit stressful to have to, you know, toss everything aside to become someone else. Proof of concept. One of the benefits of having a Commonplace book or a Commonplace binder is it's a sort of spider web that'll like keep you attached to everything, and you can connect all the thoughts together, and every time is connected to another time or place or person or thing. And so that can hold people in place. One of the great things about that is if you're having a bad year, you can just write down the bad stuff. And you can get that a little bit out of your system, and then when you review all your stuff, you'll have a little bit of your normal stuff and a little bit of the bad stuff. Now, this can create a sort of like death spiral where you only hoard the bad stuff, and so it's also good to write down the good things, because if you write down all the good things, and when you go through the stuff, you know, minimize the bad and enhance the good, you have a lot of good stuff to go through, and so that might be a big confidence boost. But it's good to probably just keep it stable, because then you know you have good times, and you have bad times, and you have medium times, and sometimes there are just times. So, proof of concept, you will understand that different times of your life have been different, and that means in the future, things will also be different. So if they're good right now, you know, plan for the possibility of something becoming bad, and if they're bad right now, plan for the possibility of something becoming good. It's also good to have like a proof of concept of whatever you're thinking about, because then instead of just trying to communicate it to people, it's already communicated on paper. And so, you know, that's just better. Giving good ideas. This isn't necessarily a place to give good ideas. I guess you could give ideas to the binder, but you're still holding them. So I guess you're like duplicating it instead of just in your head. Now it's in your head and also on paper, which is great. Like, this is all my ideas. Wow. No, that's nowhere close to all my ideas. Just like this is nowhere close to the number of videos I'm going to make. This is not the only thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about so many things, and there's so little time. I don't think I can present for more than 50 years. Maybe I will. That would be crazy. Let's see. Cut or consolidated. After finishing this playlist, I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to remove the key terms that didn't perform well for the videos. And I'm going to come up with some new key terms and some new, you know, video stuff. And then we're going to go through the next set of videos, which is going to be very exciting because they're going to be more of a deep dive. So the videos will show the first half of notes for 2026, and then the second half of the notes will be for 2027. And so each thing will be more of a deep dive than just look at my stuff. Yeah, so where are we right now? I'm not really used to the red yet, so it's a little disorienting. Cut or consolidated. Some of the stuff will be cut, some of the stuff will be consolidated, and then to fill in the additional space, I'll just make new stuff, which is great. Well, which is great, because sometimes making something fresh means making something that isn't, you know, just the same as what you've already been making. It's an evolution, and so the higher level capacity is way higher. Whereas if you're doing everything incrementally, you're just going to be like slowly getting there, and it might cap out Like there might be a point where it just doesn't work anymore, or it can't really be improved anymore. So yeah, some things will be cut, some things will be consolidated, and there are other things which I will just make from scratch, which is going to be very fun, because I'll have a general idea of what works and what doesn't work, and the new stuff should be better. Next year. All right, we have actually made it through the 100 video playlist. So thank you for watching, this video, bonus content for the Commonplace binder. In this year, I did the extra stuff in addition to the 100 video playlist at the beginning of the year, so there will be nothing at the end. But from every year in the future, it should be the 100 video playlist and then the random stuff at the end. So that'll be the bonus content rather than this just one random video. The bonus content should be a little bit more focused on the things I wanted to talk about, but there wasn't space for in the original project, rather than just gobbledygook. So I really am very thankful that you made it this whole way. I don't think anyone will watch the entire 100 video playlist, but I'm really hopeful that you got something out of it. And yeah, no, I'm really happy to be here. So thank you for being here with me. And that's it for 2026. Just kidding. That's it for 2025. So I hope to see you in 2026. And I'm just too excited to get I'm too excited to end the video. But we gotta hype ourselves up again, so I can say this properly. Thank you for watching in 2025, and I hope to see you in 2026. All right, bye.